make it loud.
Hey, how's everybody doing? Excited for the game of nodes? Because we're ready to go here.
Yeah. So welcome, everyone, to the finale of KNIME Game of Nodes. My name is Roberto. I'm a data scientist on the evangelism team. And today with me, my co-host, Scott.
I'm Scott Fincher. I'm the community team lead here at KNIME. So happy to be here.
So I would like to start introducing a little bit what KNIME Game of Nodes is. I'm not sure if you're all familiar with it. So let's have a look. So KNIME Game of Nodes is a worldwide competition on data science, and we use KNIME to build those workflows. And the idea is a team goes head-to-head to solve data analytics challenges. What are the challenges, you might wonder? Well, they cover a broad range of topics, from predictive analytics to GenAI solutions, to data engineering sometimes. There's a very broad spectrum of challenges and possibilities and, well, tasks that we give to the team, really, right? And who can join? Anybody in the KNIME community can join. Typically, we ask people to form teams of 2 or 3 users, and then basically they can register and officially be part of the competition. We recommend, though, to have a L2 level, just because challenges are quite challenges, as the name says. And how do we play? We have a tournament structure, so it's a single elimination tournament. We have qualifications, we have round of 16, 8, 4, and, well, as you can tell today, we are at the finale. And by the way, as you can see, there is something to win for the teams that compete, and that's the KNIME Golden Node. This is from the previous edition that we did the last summit in Austin, and so today we have obviously our this edition trophy. Something new that we introduced in this edition of the tournament is that we asked the community to be a part of it during the assessment period. This means that during the round of 8 and round of 4, we ask the community to cast their vote on the KNIME forum to decide which team would advance to the next round. So it was we saw a lot of engagement, and we were very happy that everybody voted. So thank you to our community who contributed and voted let's say, a lot, basically.
It's also selfishly less work for us. So that's good.
Yes, true. Absolutely. OK, let's now have a look at the finale itself. That's the structure of the tournament. So you see we have 2 teams. I hope you can see. We have the 2 teams in the finale. One is the Code of Nodes team, and the other one is the Comfortably KNIME team. And we're going to have the chance to talk to them in a few seconds. And I would like to, in fact, introduce the finalist team. So please give it a warm welcome to Code of Nodes.
OK. Are we hot? We're going to find out. There we go. So welcome. Maybe just introduce your names right quick.
I'm Vibha. I'm from Clark University. I'm pursuing my master's in business analytics. Clark is in Massachusetts, USA.
Awesome.
Hi, my name is Shubham. I am doing MBA in business analytics in Clark University.
All right. Excited to have you guys here. Color coordinated, all ready to go. All right. Yeah. Please have a seat, and we'll introduce our other team here.
Yeah.
Go. By all means, applause.
Yeah. And with the opposing team, then, well, the opposing team is Comfortably KNIME. So please give it a warm up welcome and applause to the opposing team. Woo!
All right. You guys come on up. Enjoy. You have great graphics. The Comfortably KNIME is awesome. I don't know who's responsible for that, but +1 already in my book. Let's just get your names right quick.
My name is Davide Marcantoni.
I'm Gabriele Nocco.
Matteo Bonora.
All right.
Thank you very much. Thank you. OK, so guys, you can take a seat as well. And let's now have a look at what the actual challenge of today is. Important. The teams do not know what the challenge is going to be, so they will, let's say, find out right now, like you. OK? So the challenge of today, since we have a limited amount of time, obviously, we cannot expect super complex solutions. So it's going to be about data cleaning, wrangling, and a little bit of reporting. Let's have a look specifically at what the challenge is going to be. So the idea is that we're going to work with shoe purchase data from shops in Germany. And the team will take the role of a data analyst for a shoe retailer in Germany. And the stakeholders of the shoe retailer company want to know a bit about how sales are going in the quarter and monthly. So we will ask the team to solve basically the challenges in 3 steps. So in the first step, it's going to be about data reading and pre-processing, which is a very important part of today's challenge. Then we have a second step where we ask them to compute some sales, and you'll see what exactly. And the third step where we ask to basically generate a static PDF report on the fly. Okay? All right, so the first step, and that's also what the teams are going to be seeing on the challenge, we ask basically to access the shoe purchase data set. And there is, however, when you compile data sets, especially if it's, for example, you do it manually, there might be the risk of some misspelling or misspelling words or some typos. And specifically here, we have a lot of terms that have some typos. As you can see, have the words botos or sneakers that should be actually boots and sneakers. So we want them to correct automatically these typos in a data set. So automatically means, especially for the teams, you cannot use input any manual values and do some value lookup, but rather we want you to define an automated way to correct those typos. And then we ask you to extract the quarter and the day of the month from the data set, and that will be the end of the first step. In step 2, we ask you to compute some sales. So in one hand, on the first task, we ask you to basically aggregate the data for every day of the month and quarter and compute a sum. And then we also ask you in the second step to compute running totals, basically the cumulative daily sum of the sales, okay, for each shoe type. It's important. Okay, so that's how more or less a little portion of how the end data set is going to be looking like. Okay, and the last step is to generate, so to bring everything into a tiny little report, static report, as a PDF, and where we show each quarter so every day in the quarter, how the sales for each shoe type is going. But also they need to take care of little plot aesthetics here and there, nothing super complicated, such as, for example, labeling the axis meaningfully, giving it a title, or ensure that every day of the month is displayed on the x-axis, okay? And then, as I said, we would like them to bring everything into a static PDF report, okay? All right, and that's more or less how the report could look like. So we have the title, we have basically the type of shoes that are in the data set. They are color-coded in the same way they are color-coded in the plots. Values on the x-axis represent the day of the month, every day of the month, and same scales and on the y-axis, okay? All right. So how are we going to play? Typically, in this competition, we have been having some criteria, some more complex ones, because the challenges also were more complex, more demanding. But here, since we're going to have an evaluation on the fly, so you see how the team will build the workflows live, how are we going to play? So the teams have 30 minutes maximum to solve the challenges. They are not allowed to use any AI, not within KNIME, nor outside. The only exception is Kai, so they can ask questions in the Q&A mode to Kai if they wish. No coding allowed either, so only using, let's say, KNIME workflows and KNIME nodes. So no scripting nodes, no JavaScript nodes, nothing like this. And how are we going to assess it? So we obviously want to assess the correctness of the solution, so meaning that they complete successfully and correctly the tasks that we assign in each step. We have some additional consideration, especially if both teams, for example, manage to provide a complete, correct solution on time. Then we're going to be basically see which team has was faster in submitting the solution. And we can check that on the KNIME Community Hub. They have their own private spaces. If no team completes the challenge because maybe they get stuck on step 2 or step 3, we'll award the team that got closer to the solution, okay? And as we were commenting with Scott before, we know the challenge, there's a lot of pressure here, and a lot of emotions here, and a lot of nerves, so don't worry, teams, if you don't manage to finish everything today. It's totally fine. Okay, other questions from our teams? Something that is unclear, it's a good time to ask. Yes? Mm-hmm. So I will repeat the question for everyone. So in the second step, I was asked if there is one table or two tables that they need to provide as output. The output of step 2 is only one table. Okay, so there is intermediate steps, so it's to be followed one after the other. So it's only one output table out of step 2. Okay, so gaming time starts. We will give them about 2 minutes for them to go through the actual task, to read it like in peace, and then we'll set a timer of 30 minutes for them to actually play. And in the meantime, we are going to be commenting a little bit on the solutions. So I will ask our heavy team now to switch off the monitors here. And okay, so from now on, we have about 2 minutes. So 2 minutes roughly for you to read. And yeah.
Go ahead and read through. Okay. Perfect. And then while you guys read through and just familiarize yourself with the problem, Roberto and I will just chat for a moment, okay? Make sure that everybody gets on the same page before we hit the big red button.
Correct.
So I guess one thing that I wanted to point out, and maybe we didn't mention this before,
yes.
This exercise we have 30 minutes for them to compete, right? It's designed such that they may not finish.
Correct.
That is not a reflection on the teams, who are obviously very good at what they do, yeah. But we thought it would be better to give them something too long than something too short. So just take that into account as you're watching them build. They have a lot of ground to cover.
Yes, absolutely. Also because typically the challenges will be assigned to the teams throughout the competition are really complex. They usually have a week time to solve the challenges. So they work in teams, so that means more brains are working towards a solution. And it's also, so some challenges, for example, were about optimizing machine learning models, or assessing the quality of those machine learning models, or developing some GenAI solution. So it's something more complex. It's a little bit of orchestration, a little bit of validation of the process and the steps. So obviously, this is something that we cannot ask in 30 minutes, right, Scott?
Yeah, that wouldn't exactly be fair. So that's why we've limited it to some more ETL, a little bit of reporting. Yeah. You're not going to necessarily see predictive analytics here. Certainly not any LLM prompting or GenAI or anything like that.
Exactly.
Again, not a reflection on the teams, just reflection on what we would like to be able to do in the time that we have.
Yeah. Exactly, correct. So, and also we hope, obviously, it would be amazing if they finish, and so we also have the option to show up some nice reports. But of course, let's see. This is going to be, let's say, a little bit of also nerve-wracking for us, maybe to see how things are evolving.
We'll give them maybe 1 more minute to look things over, but I wanted to point out, for those of you who are maybe not so competitive that you want to enter a tournament like this, but would actually like to get your hands on some examples and work with other people on a lot of different use cases. If you haven't tried our Just KNIME It challenges, maybe it's the time to do that. We're between seasons right now, but all of the Just KNIME It challenges that we've offered for the past 3 seasons are available. You can pick and choose, go through anytime you want, and then coming up later this year, we'll start season 4, where we give you a data set. We have different levels of difficulty, and say, hey, try this geospatial challenge, try this text processing challenge. We give everybody kind of a week to work on it. We get to see all of the different approaches that people in the community come up with, and in the end, we, KNIME, provide the solution that we came up with. And it's just a nice way to get your hands on some different data sets, some challenges, without maybe quite as competitive as doing it in front of the lights with a 30-minute time limit, right?
Yeah. Okay, so I guess time for reading and preparation is up. So I would say we now gonna take the very technological approach. I'm gonna press the start button, and we have now, from now on, 30 minutes for you guys to try to complete the challenge. So it would be nice if we can have now their screens displayed, so we can also check and follow.
Okay,
maybe we can move a little bit
one of them. Nice.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. You guys get after it. Time's wasted. Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, come on. Perfect. Okay, we can stay here, actually. Perfect, okay. So,
I can confidently say that I've never done what these folks are trying to do, build a workflow with 200 people watching me, and actually lots more than that if you count our online folks, and try to beat somebody else at building the same workflow. So,
not easy.
Not easy. You guys are quite brave, actually.
Not easy at all. Also, I mean, when we do courses, right, that we build workflows live on screen, and there's only maybe, 50 people on the other side of the screen, and we already, it's nerve-wracking. So, you try to be, you can imagine how it can be for the teams right now to be building live the solution. So, respect for the teams that actually, thank you also for accepting to be here with us today. Okay, so I already see some interesting
different approach here. Over here, we're starting with reading in some data from Excel, and over here, we're creating it looks like a table. So we're inputting that data as constants.
Exactly, yes. So, yeah, let's see. It's I'm excited to see how this is evolving. It's also, to be fair, it's also, as you can see, this is a team, right? So there are many strategies you can tackle this challenge, right? For example, you could, the typical divide and conquer approach, right? Where you maybe split some of the tasks to your other colleagues. That typically also what happens in data teams when, when you are working on some big business problem, right? So maybe it's that approach. Is it? We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, we told them as part of the setup that, they could work off of one laptop or they could work off of multiple laptops. Yes. And you see that everybody has chosen to work off their own. We're just displaying one of them. I think in the end, we submit only the one from the main laptop. But if it were me, just as a security blanket, I'd want my own in front of me so I could check the node repository myself or, well, can't use Kai today, I guess, but I would be wanting to do that too.
Well, you can use Kai if you want, Scott, but it's only in the Q&A mode. So you can ask Kai, for example, how do I do this? I'm not so sure, which is perfectly fair because in the end, it's also what people do, right? Also what I do when I build workflows. Sometimes I don't remember what the name of the node is or how can I get to that operation. Yeah. So totally fine, totally fair to ask Kai if it helps. Of course, only in the Q&A mode, right? It would be too easy just to,
And here we go right here. Actually, we're using it here.
Right, yes, exactly.
Already.
So it's already something that is being suggested.
I will say this is a different way for me to view KNIME as well. I'm not used to putting my face directly up to the screen, which I feel like I'm doing now. Great. Now we're moving along already over here.
Yeah, exactly. So it's maybe some feedback for our UI team. Create huge workflow screens. Okay. So as we were saying, remember the challenge is in the first step is to read some data. It's data about shoes. So there are different basic type of shoes being sold in different shops in Germany, across Germany. And one of the first tasks is to actually clean a little bit some of the typos in the data. The typos basically are about how the shoe types are written, right? So as I showed at the beginning, some may be called boats or sneakers, something obviously not right. So we want to correct that automatically so that this can be hopefully corrected, and then they can move to step 2. So I see some.
We've already got some moving aggregation going on over here in step 2. It looks like.
Okay, interesting. Okay, yes.
So they're moving fast. Yeah.
Yes, they're moving fast.
Let me ask the audience just quickly. How many of you have ever watched? In America, it's the Great British Baking Show. I think it's British Bake Off. Has anybody watched that, like on Netflix, right? So the idea, right, I see some people like sheepishly raising their hands. Okay, I watch with my daughters. We love it. The idea, right, is that they're baking. They're given a bunch of ingredients, and then they have to bake on the clock while the judges come by. And then periodically, the judges will come by and ask them questions. And why did you choose to do it this way? And are you sure you want to use this ingredient? And as a watcher, I always think, what a totally cruel thing to do to someone. Like, they're busy. They're trying to do their thing. Leave them alone, which is why right now.
So leave them alone.
I'm going to ask you guys, how are we feeling at the moment? Stressed?
Yeah.
A lot of stress? I mean, it's just, the lights are going to block the people out. It's going to be okay, right? So, I mean, are we step one here? Still moving along? Okay, all right, I'll get out of your hair. It's not fair to ask them a question and then not ask these guys a question. So, oh, look, he's already rolling his eyes. He can't believe it. You're interrupting me.
Yes.
Yeah, did you get past the moving aggregator? I noticed the big red X there for a second.
It was.
What was? Oh, okay, all right. Okay, fair enough. All right, I'll leave you alone.
I don't know. Yeah, well, there's expert cooks. So,
Yeah, exactly. Expert cooks of workflows. That's
yeah, exactly.
right.
So you cannot trick it that easily. No, but that's yeah.
No,
so,
you can't fluster him. He's not. No.
It's also interesting. I think also, as you said, like the approach that we already start coming in a little bit into place. Some team already have, for example, let's say, divide and conquer approach, maybe, because I see already some working on step 2, whereas the other team is trying to solve the task sequentially and try to see how they can tackle the typo problem, which is, to be fair, a very common one, right? Especially if filling express or spreadsheets all the time, then maybe you make a typo.
There's never been a clean data set in the history. I've never worked on one, ever.
Exactly.
If someone gives you a clean data set, you should be very suspicious. They're probably not your friend. Something's happening.
Right, that's
It's a trap.
To quote Rosario, who was, yes, Rosario, it's you, we're quoting you now. When you see 100% accuracy of a model, then you should not trust it.
Yeah.
So yeah, in a predictive model. So obviously, having clean data is what we would like to have, but not often what we get. Okay, so I see more moving aggregators here. Yeah. So.
I will say one of the reasons that I was excited to come up and do the Game of Nodes today, apart from the fact that I've never done it before, is you see these sweet T-shirts?
Yes.
Now somebody at KNIME can confirm this for me. I think this might be the most rare KNIME T-shirt in existence.
Scott. It is, Scott. Yes, it is. This is, by the way, part of what the winning team will also get. Not only the trophy, but also T-shirts of the event for the team. So hopefully, hopefully they like it. Actually, I mean, we don't know if they
like it. As a long-time collector of KNIME apparel, I proudly add this to my closet.
Exactly. And yeah, this is my second, so.
Yeah, okay, you're one ahead of me. That's fair. That's all right.
Exactly. So, how we are progressing.
Looks like we're using one of the newer nodes over here. Actually, I saw the date and time part extractor to be able to pull out some of that date time information.
Yes, which is actually subtask of the first step is at the end to get also the quarter and the day of the month. So it's typically also what it's part of the steps. And we saw that for example, this team adopted a more rule-based kind of approach for the typo a little bit. We are still checking how the other team is doing it.
Oh, comfortably numb is looping already. Watch out.
Watch out. Correct. One thing that I will also need to mention is that we provide, so the team also, as I said at the beginning, they also didn't know anything about the challenge. They find out, like you right now. What we did share, however, were some sanity checks, screenshot here and there about how the output of each step should look like.
And that's only fair, right?
That's only fair, right?
So they know when they get to a certain point in their workflow whether they're on the right track
exactly.
or not.
So they can easily compare whether the result that they get is similar to what it is in the screenshot.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit to give them a little bit of literally sanity check.
And I know when I see the light blue nodes come in, when the loop nodes come in, then it's serious, right? Then we're not fooling around anymore.
No, we're not fooling around anymore.
Let's do a time check right quick.
Yes, so we still have about 20 minutes, if I'm not mistaken. That's correct. About 20 minutes to go, so we still have a little bit of time. Yeah. Yeah.
Their workflows already look a lot neater than mine do. Look at that. Already. I'm sorry, I interrupted you.
Yeah, no, I want to ask, did you, because, Scott is an expert in text processing, so among other things. Among other things. So have you ever had to tackle such a or similar problem about spelling correction?
Oh, sure. Yeah. It's actually a really common question that comes up in this area, right?
Right.
It comes up so frequently. In fact, on the KNIME forum, I made a little workflow one time using the string similarity node.
Yeah,
I think it uses the Levenstein distance to be able to take properly spelled, in that particular case, it was names of stores, right? And then compare them to incorrectly spelled.
Yes.
And it's just like a 2 or 3 node solution that helps with that data cleansing process, right? But yeah, you run into that all the time.
All the time, right? So yes, I tend to have a similar approach to what you just described in terms of the solution. I don't know if our teams are listening to us, but yes, absolutely. Like it is the bread and butter of what we do every day when we build workflows. We wish this was like a case only for the challenge. In fact, it's what we basically have to deal with every time we open a data set and there's 100 typos or things that are misplaced or they need to be wrangled in such a way that they can be further analyzed properly.
You're seeing how the sausage is made, right?
Exactly.
The unglamorous part of making sure the data's in good shape so that you can do something useful with it, right?
It's not about only machine learning, after all.
Yeah,
after all, AI. Sure. So do you have a problem with the connection? Or? Okay. So you already submitted a solution? Okay. Well, it's worth asking. No, don't worry, other team, it's fine.
Well, they've got to submit sometime, right? Because if they don't submit, then it doesn't count. So better to submit early in the process, even when things are incomplete, than wait till too late.
Correct. So it's very important that you also, when we're approaching the end, we still have 17 minutes, so it's totally fine, still enough time. But it's also important that the teams actually submit the solutions on the private space that we have on the KNIME Hub, on the Community Hub, so that we can also check the time of submission in case we need this information. Basically, that's basically why we're asking for the submission, so that we can say, okay, one team submitted faster than the other. Obviously, if the solution
as a tiebreaker, right? As a tiebreaker, we don't necessarily anticipate that being needed, but
exactly. But we need to have the data point eventually to be able to tell which team is going to win. So let's go back to what the teams are doing. Okay, so some team already checking some of the statistics, maybe to see if their table looks like one of the sanity checks. I must say we were harsh in the sense that the sanity checks that we provided are not the exact output table, but are the summary statistics of that table. So this is something not to give away too obviously what the table spec or result looks like, but rather the summary statistics of it. We told the teams, don't worry, but we told the team obviously that there was just a summary statistics of the tables. Okay, so you already even see a component even. Wow. Okay. I wonder if our audience may have suggestions.
If who has suggestions?
Our audience may have suggestions. Are people online already typing, why don't you solve it like this?
No,
I wonder. Last year, we had a lot of audience, and that was like, you should do it like this or like that. So, so maybe it's this year as well.
One of the things about KNIME is there's different ways to solve every problem, different arrangements of nodes that you could use.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. This is also, basically the flexibility of the tool, right? That you can solve the same challenge, the same problem, different ways, some ways. Actually, it doesn't mean that our solution is the best. In fact, often it's not the case. Our solution is the best. It's just one solution. And we've seen throughout the competition, actually, amazing solutions that I guess we wouldn't have even dreamt about it, how well crafted and how well documented and how well designed they were. So typically, it's a Well, we have some fans. Okay, yes. So now I see there is some. I'm very interested in the
Okay.
I'm very interested in the approach, to be honest, because
We're trying to get to that joiner on the far right-hand side
Yes.
there.
Yes.
How and what are we joining?
Exactly. Yeah,
It's like a lookup table.
Yeah, it's a very interesting approach. I must say this divide and conquer turns out to be an interesting approach, not only in programming or in data problem solving, but actually also in solving a challenge for a competition. Okay.
Switching back to the instructions there. Yeah. Still trying to get a handle over here, it looks like, on what exactly is going on in the data set. Still using some exploratory nodes to
Yeah. I mean, it's
determine what, even after the corrections, what fields are
Correct.
left and what their state is.
exploring the data is definitely not a bad idea in general. so it's good that there are some some aspirations. But already you see on this output table over there how many typos we have, right? There's about 16 rows there that are being isolated, and many of them have typos, right? Yeah. So we know that there's a lot of typos. I think it's about, if I'm not mistaken, about 1,000 row, the data set. So already 16 entries. Some of them,
16
entry, exactly.
variations.
Exactly, of the words that, well, some of them have typos, obviously. Most of them have typos, in fact. So yeah.
Will we be showing later today, Roberto, our solution?
We could.
Okay.
We could.
I mean, I know it'll be publicly available
Yeah, it will be publicly available.
If anybody wants to check it out.
Yes, that's very important. Thank you, actually, for the reminder, because this year, as I said before, we had the community also assessing and voting for the favorite solution, so they could cast their vote. But also, we typically, since it's a competition, it's open-ended, we don't provide our own solution. But in this case, I think it would be fair to provide also our solution, so to share it to everyone, and so that you can also check it at home. Maybe you find it useful, and you think, okay, well, I could correct typos this way in the future. Yep. Who knows?
Just available on the community hub, just like we would with any other workflow.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Yeah. We still have 12 minutes to go. Okay, give it an applause to the team. Come on. Come on. So we have about 11 minutes, a little bit more than 11 minutes. So to give it a little task.
Doing some syntax treatment over here in the string manipulation node. Mm-hmm. Saw a little error pop up a while ago. I've never had any errors in those nodes, have you? I always get it right the first time out of the box.
Yeah. The regular expressions are always tricky, right?
Not true. I mess it up every time.
I mean, when it works great.
Yeah,
when it works. It's always, you're typing something, maybe it's...
The problem is my brain doesn't work as well as the node works.
But it's, totally valid approach, if you ask me. Just, of course, you need to kind of get the regex to work properly, which is, which is fine, but yeah. Okay. So already see this team has proportions here and there. Obviously, we need to. I think one of the team is already understanding that there is at some point some tables needs to be sort of joined, right? They need to come together, which is just I mean.
There's only so much you can say.
I cannot say more.
It's tempting, but no.
It's tempting. The teacher in me.
Oh, we're already component. Okay.
Interesting.
We've got people contributing components, it looks like, to one another. Is that what's happening on this side?
Yeah.
We're developing components individually on other machines and then bringing them into the main workflow.
Yeah, that's totally fine.
That's a great pattern, right? I mean, if you talk about what components are and what they are used for and how you would use them in a really practical sense on your team, right? This is exactly what you would do. You would build the functionality into a component and share it with someone else so they don't have to reinvent the wheel, right?
Correct.
So exactly what you would want to do.
Yeah. This is I must say, very smart solution. I myself didn't think about it. So
it does make it a little bit more opaque to us, right? Because we can only see that top level of the component, but all those nodes are inside, and they have them labeled properly, so we get an idea of what they do.
Yeah. But it's totally a, let's say, very, very interesting approach. And after all, I mean, it's totally fine. The rule says you can use whatever you want except basically coding AI. And the AI. So besides that, you're free to use your tools, your preferred tools, and that's totally fine. So yeah, so we are seeing only some interesting columns here and there. Okay, so we are below 10 minutes, teams. We are still having about 9 minutes to go. Yeah. Okay, we will just send another reminder maybe when 5 minutes are left.
Yeah, getting closer to some visualization over here, it looks like.
Yeah.
And over here as well, actually, taking the first stabs at the line plot based on the original processing of the data.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's also tempting for me to run around and stick the mic in their face again.
And
but with 8 minutes remaining, that seems exceptionally cruel. It was already cruel enough the first time.
Let's be kind. Let's be kind to the teams.
We're in high-stress thinking mode now, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, we've given up on that line plot. Not what we wanted.
Okay. There is definitely some, I mean, I really like the decomponentization, so to say, of the workflow. It's interesting. Yeah. Line plot, yeah.
So I know we had several other teams participating throughout the tournament.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe one of the upsides if you get knocked out already is that you don't have to experience the stress of having to do this live. But I think it would be interesting at some point, for those of you who are maybe thinking about competing in the future, to go and see some of the other submitted solutions from the other teams.
Absolutely.
Because they were really good, actually. And as Roberto mentioned before, some of the challenges that we posed prior to today are considerably more
harder.
Complicated.
Yes. Yes, as I said, they also have a week, right? So it's fair that they are a bit challenging, harder. So we also give the community something interesting to vote for. But yeah, and also if you consider joining the next, let's say, edition of Game on Nodes, I mean, those are great resources to because the actual challenges that we provide, they are published. So already, so you can also train and basically get your hands dirty a little bit with that and see if you can solve the problems. But also, as Scott mentioned, we have the Just KNIME challenges as well. So if you are maybe a little bit earlier in your journey, train with that. That goes basically almost for 6 months, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah.
So it's a long training, let's say, upskilling program that every week gives you a little bit of a challenge, new data sets, new techniques. It's very varied in the options and tasks that we ask you to do. So you get to see a lot of different angles of the software.
Well, and the best way to learn is by doing, right?
Absolutely.
And so I think some people see an event like this or the Game of Nodes leading up to this and think, well, I'm not experienced enough with KNIME. Like, that's not the point, really, of what we want everybody to give it a shot, right? Maybe you only make it to the first round or the second round, but what have you learned in that process? And that's really the important part.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. So it's interesting to see we're already, I think, getting some visualizations here. Okay, some line plots. Okay, so we okay.
Yeah, lots of different line plots over here.
Yes.
Sure, we're testing different.
Yes, correct.
Variations on what's coming out of the pivot node there. I'm going to build a component, combine all those views together, maybe.
Yep. We ask for a report after all, so it's a great functionality that components have, right? That you can just wrap it up and turn it into a static view, and then plug in the nodes of the reporting extension. So that's definitely something that it's good to keep in mind.
Yeah, super important.
okay.
Yeah, we did point out,
Yeah.
and we're under 5 minutes now, contestants, under 5 minutes.
Yes, under 5 minutes, guys. Under 5 minutes, we have 4 minutes, 40 seconds, roughly.
But yeah, two really different but important features of component. You see on this workflow over here from Comfortably Numb, the different shared components, right, where they've built that functionality in.
Yes.
They've worked with one another to include that in the workflow.
Yes.
But then over here on the right-hand side, where they're actually building a combined view. Both are necessary, or when, I phrased that incorrectly, but when using components, you can do both of those things, right?
Yeah.
Key functionality for components. So here in a second, we're going to see exactly the different layout that they come up with to put all those line plots together.
Correct.
And arrange them nicely. All right, under 4 minutes now.
Yeah.
Starting to come down to the wire. Oh, there we go. Here's one of our combined visualizations right here. Looks like we've got some values for loafers in there that are still a little bit off kilter. So working on cleaning that up.
Yeah. We will also ask the team to let us check every single step so that we can be more clear about how they solve the single steps, because I think now they're still in the creative process. So we'll ask them when time is up. So yeah, and it's funny because we're discussing actually with some of our data team members how to best phrase this challenge. So I would like to thank some of Norbert from the data team to help me put into a nice wording some of the tasks, because I was worried that maybe it wasn't clear enough. So thank you.
It looks like they're making pretty good progress in
Yeah.
several areas here. So as we mentioned before, we don't necessarily expect them to finish perfectly.
Yeah.
But that's okay. You can still make a judgment regardless of that. Okay, 2.5 minutes now.
Yes. Yeah.
So we're submitting the latest version over here on the right-hand screen, making sure that that's been uploaded to the hub. Still time to make a few more corrections, I think.
Correct. Remember, we ask for a report, so make use of the reporting extension for the report.
Okay, 2-minute warning, contestants, 2 minutes. Coincidentally, in the US, I don't know if somebody's familiar with March Madness. That starts this weekend. I'm thinking, that's 64 plus 4 teams, 68 teams. So maybe in the years to come, we have a Game of Nodes that's that size, Roberto, yeah?
Yes.
Instead of 16, we still have room to grow? Okay, 1 minute, 20 seconds now. These guys have a coach down here in the front.
Have a coach. Coach. Bring your best coach. We should have put it in the requirements.
1 minute remaining, 1 minute.
Yeah.
Deep breaths, power through, take a big swig of water. You got it. Here's our last executed component over here, resubmitting to the hub again. 30 seconds remaining, 30 seconds.
Come on. Give it a big applause, come on. Woo. Come on.
Last submission over here on the left-hand side.
15, 14, 13.
All right, looks like the last submissions are in now. Rearranging a little bit of the views here, maybe. Oh, we're enabling reporting. I saw them check the box.
Yeah,
okay, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And the phone says.
All right, excellent job, contestants. Woo. Well done.
Yeah, well done.
Time to take a deep breath.
Yes, time is up. So thank you very much for going through. Okay, so to check how the solution are being, because I see actually you did a lot of progress, so which is great. And so this is actually really a great thing that you made it almost till the end. Okay, so I like each team to quickly show us the output of every step so we can check basically who got closer. Okay, so let's start and maybe.
Yeah, let's see the results of maybe the plots there. Is that what you want to see, Roberto?
I want to see every single step. So,
every single step.
So the output of step 1.
Okay.
Roughly. Okay, so.
And maybe a good idea to remind folks what the output of step 1 was supposed to be.
Correct. I would like to see how many in categories the shoe types has. So if you maybe use like a counter, okay, 3. Okay, that's already. So the first step here is correct. Okay, what about? Okay, can you show us, guys, how many shoe types you have after the end of step 1? Okay, but we need to see. So if you take the data set, I suppose might be somewhere here. We need to know the counter of the shoe type so that we can see if there is more than 3 individual values, or if there is more than 3 individual values, then there is still typos in there.
Maybe the output of the pivot node, the statistics associated with the output of the pivot node, I'm guessing?
No, we need to be able to see. Okay. So were you able to correct the typos? Okay. Where is the typo correction happening? Okay. So maybe you can check. Let's know this one. Okay. Okay. So if you can show us let's say the unique values of the column that contains the corrected shoe type. You can use maybe a value counter node. Okay. Then that's correct. Okay. Okay. Then I see. Okay. But then the approach is correct because you then still able to replace the correct value. Okay, that's also an approach. Okay, good. Then step 1 and step 1 are both correct. That's great. Okay, let's check then the second step. The second step is about computing sales. We were asking about the quarter and monthly. Wow, that's actually, I think it looks correct. Can you check? Can you switch to the statistics table? And I think that's actually correct. Would you mind getting inside a component? Okay. Okay, so we will need to check the loop end first, and maybe the statistics table of the loop end. Key. But with the sanity check screenshot that we send you, I think there are still some values that are not quite there, right? Have you compare the end table result with the sanity screenshot that we shared? Okay, but I think there is still something off. But the approach is definitely going in the right direction because there is some. I see some pivoting. I've seen some looping and some moving aggregator, which is actually how we solve it, but I'm not sure if that's the only way to solve it, but definitely that's the correct approach.
Let's evaluate over here, yeah.
What about here? So here we have a pivoting node, I would imagine, because that's part of the aggregation step. Okay, but I think here we might be missing the cumulative, so the running totals, right? The second step of the running totals typically, the pivot, I think you use it for the aggregating the month, the daily and quarter total sales. But then we ask for the running totals where you sum on each day the sales basically runningly. So Or if you did it, then maybe you can show it to us. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So here we are, 2 and 1 step correct. What about the plot? I think, to be fair, if this calculation is not quite there, the plot might be not quite correct. Do you also have a plot for us, or
Yeah, let's
a
go ahead and
report
see
for
the
us?
visualizations and pull those up.
Okay. Here I see the plots. I think there is, as I said, like, still some little problems here, but this is pretty much
This is getting
pretty
there
much
for
correct.
sure. This one here.
Okay, unfortunately here, the problem is that we don't have the running totals.
Okay, well,
Okay.
I think that makes it clear then.
Okay, so I do guess we have the winner, all right,
Yes.
of Game on Nodes 2025. So comfortably KNIME, congratulations.
Congratulations.
Wait. But,
Well done.
wait. But please also give a very warm applause to our opposing team.
Yes, thank you. Okay,
But we're not done yet.
no,
We're not done yet.
there's still more.
We're not done yet because we have, I mean, this is, after all, there's a trophy, right? And so I would like to invite a winning team, and so we can give the official trophy, the official award. Okay, so congratulations, and this is the Golden Node of 2025. Congratulations.
All right,
Scott,
yeah, let's get a
take a
picture
picture.
right quick. Okay.
Okay.
Excellent. And let's actually get a picture
on.
with everybody. Everybody come on up. You guys stand next to Roberto here, and we'll get another quick pic all together. Oh, so very good sportsmanship.
Yeah.
Excellent. We love to see it.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Here he's right there. All right.
All right. Okay.
Well done, everybody.
All right. Okay.
And thanks
but
very much.
You can actually already maybe grab your things, but we still have one.
Still have one more thing here.
You guys can actually
Yeah,
grab
have a
your
seat right
thing.
quick.
You're the winners. What else do you want? Okay, but we do have one little extra award. So I said that this year the community voted for the solution. So that's how these 2 teams made it to the finale, into the other round of the competition. But we also wanted to, get the chance to have our own KNIME committees. We didn't get to vote, obviously, right? Because we need to be, let's say, outside, or we didn't want to influence the voting. So, but we thought, okay, why not giving also away a KNIME Committee Choice Award to the most elegant and, let's say, beautiful solution of this competition. So, and I'm very, very pleased. I hope they are in the room right now. I know they are at the summit. I'm not sure if they're in the room.
It's a surprise, right?
It's a surprise.
So.
They don't know, right? So, well, the prize goes to Dothraki Data Horde. So if you guys are in the room, please join us on
Are you
stage.
here? Aha!
Okay. Woo! Give it a big applause, please.
All right. Marcel and Bertold, come on up. Come on up.
Yes. So congratulations. We have also an award for you. Just give this.
Yes, we have something else.
Of course, it cannot be the Golden Nodes, obviously, because that's only one. But please come here with me. So we have space for the photographers.
More pictures.
So this is the award for the KNIME Committee Choice Award, and you may already see why a little bit, because they created. Obviously, it's a much more complex challenges, this one, but they created a very beautiful and super refined report. So we really think they deserve this award.
I mean, look at that data app. That's crazy.
That's
great,
amazing.
right?
Yeah. So
Excellent work.
congratulations.
Yeah, let's get a picture with these guys as well.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Okay. So with that being said,
Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much, Scott, for being my co-host.
Oh, yeah, I was happy to do it. It's great.
Yeah, and thank you, everybody, to be with us today, and this session. And, till Game on Node 2026.
Yeah, see yourself on stage next year, right?
Yes.
Come join us.
Please.
Okay.
Bye-bye. Thank you.